was over some lady escape. Then I realized that I'm here to sacrifice her.
I ain't dead on the dish I burn. I got a fried fake head with the fish and nerves. Vision blurred from excision, sir. Made a Mossberg meal, now the dish is served. Run to the temple, there's a gun, catacombs. I'm done with my mental pumping blood. Glad at home, but one burning temple left. Two catatone, cause running from my mental left. You settled on, I'm a phenom.
Hello there. Welcome to Sweet Child of Time, a podcast introducing a sweet child to Amazon's adaptation of The Wheel of Time. I'm Steve Barnes. I'm your average Wheel of Time reader. What we just heard was Marshland Monster, intro music for us. That was Pulpit Aesthetics. Just came out last year at the end of 2021. He's still putting more stuff out. He put up like 2 albums, but we'll more than likely check out Marshland Monster later on in the podcast. Who knows? There's 15 books in the Wheel of Time series. I've read them all 3 times. I'm working my way through them again, and I love to share this world with other people, but how can you ask someone to read 15 books? It's impossible. The first time I did it, it took me 2 years. So this Wheel of Time series might be a better way to introduce somebody to Wheel of Time. We'll find out right now. Well, I'm Steve Barnes. I'm new to podcasting, but my co-host is not. He's a seasoned podcast veteran. He runs the Marshland Media Network. Marshland, it sounds like Marshland Monster. That's also him. He puts out music all the time. I'm a fan. That's how I found out and hooked up with him. He hosts lots of podcasts. I'm going to let him introduce James McCullum. I see you, James.
Hello, I see you as well. It is weird that I've done many podcasts, but always the first episode, it's as if I've never done one before.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm shocked. I mean, you're a great lead-in person to have. That shocks me. The first format was to introduce you, so tell us about yourself. I mean, professionally, I said who you were, but, when did you get started doing music, first off?
I was 14 years young.
You were a young 14-year young fella.
Yeah, and now I'm 30 years young, and I don't know. I don't think I ever have said this on a podcast. I started rapping because I thought at the time my also 14-year-old girlfriend was like pregnant, which doesn't make sense because for many reasons. One, I don't make money off from rap music, so it would have been a poor career path. And 2, I don't think we had sex. I was a terribly, and still am. Luckily, I got that vasectomy many years ago. But children have terrified me, and now I am one of time.
Yes, you are my sweet child. That's right. I did introduce the show properly. I certainly hope. I don't want to have to redo it in the post, but I think we're good to go that I introduced it properly, Sweet Child of Time. So that's the first thing I'm going to ask you is, you did watch the teaser and the trailer. I asked you to.
Yes.
But we're not going to talk about that yet. Let's go back to like a couple days ago where you had, or even before that, before I asked you to even do this. What is your experience with Wheel of Time?
I truly have just seen nerds talk about it on the internet since the Amazon thing came out, and that is all I know.
Okay. Yeah, that's enough. So, yeah, if you know that nerds like it, then it's got to be kind of good, right?
I don't know. Nerds also like hating Ghostbusters 2016, so
I liked it. We went and saw it in theaters opening day. We loved it.
yeah, same. I think that's the funniest one. The first 2 aren't funny.
What do you mean the first 2? Like Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2?
Yeah.
They're well, I guess we got to disagree there because I freaking love both those movies.
They're good movies, but I don't think they're comedies. They have jokes in it. Just like, hey, is Age of Ultron a comedy? It has jokes in it, but I wouldn't call it a comedy. Just like Ghostbusters. Dude gets a blowjob in a deleted scene, and that's the only joke.
Well, you got to think about what they were designed to be, which was an SNL launching pad career starter for some of these guys. It's born from comedy. It's born from your hometown of Chicago. You're from Chicago, correct?
I mean, this is the place I call my home, but the place in which I was born and raised is a terrible town in Michigan. Get out. Unless you're retired, get out.
There's probably a lot of Wheel of Time readers in Michigan because that's what Wheel of Time is for. It's a fantasy world. 15 books. You can really get into your own head.
It's also
So I bet.
everyone who lives in Michigan and tries to defend it, they're like, oh, the nature and the scenery is so beautiful. It's like, yeah, I can see that on a YouTube video. I can go visit there and enjoy it. But after a while, all I'm doing is looking at that. No wonder all of my friends did drugs. Because they're like, we got to change up this scenery somehow that we've seen the last 15 years of our life. What's the easiest way to do that? Try for political change to like get things going for all ages venues and whatnot. Oh, adults won't let us do that. No. They shut that down every single time someone tries to do it. So let's just do drugs.
I heard you talking about that on a different podcast, that y'all attempted to do that in your town. They attempted to do that in Richmond, Virginia, too. And it went okay for a couple of years, but it really just became more of a place to like meet up to do drugs later.
Hey, that's because the city still wasn't fully behind it. But what I'm fully behind now is Wheel of Time.
Yeah, great. 14-year-old you. It sounds like you were rapping. It sounds like you were, drugs might have been involved in there. Who knows?
Oh, not
But
for
did
me.
you- Okay,
Very
great.
straight edge.
Good. Okay. Well, did you read then? Because some people use that as a drug instead. Or were you a reader at all?
Eventually, the first things I ever read were technically Final Fantasy.
Okay.
And then after that, Captain Underpants was...
Yes.
Captain Underpants is what made me... I was such a dumb child because I just could not read. I could, like, Final Fantasy, I could get through a little bit. But by the time I was in third grade, I was seriously behind on the times of where I should be. And it wasn't until a very nice librarian was like, hey... You're a weird, in her head, hey, you're a weird kid. You're going to like Captain Underpants. In any school, like banned books are very in the news right now. Any elementary school that wants to ban Captain Underpants, you're doing a disservice to the children who need that as a stepping stone of like, hey, I'm finally interested in reading because that's what Captain Underpants is. My mom praises Dave Pilkey for me not being illiterate.
Yeah, rightly so. Like that book, along with the series like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I think gave quiet kids like somebody to relate to and somebody to listen to. And those kind of books. When I was a kid, I read like Encyclopedia Brown. That whole series was my favorite. And I got into Stephen King really early, like about 10 or 11. So that really kind of guided what I read. I was an avid, I read all the time. And I got out of it as an adult, and I've gotten back into it like in the past, I'd say 10 to 15 years of always reading something every day. So that's where we're at with reading, James. I hear you. So what you have to have read. Have you read any books like in the past 5 years, autobiographies, biographies, anything?
No. The only thing, I read comic books and that's it.
That counts.
Okay, all right.
What would you say is your most like highbrow comic that you've read?
Highbrow?
Yep.
I don't know.
Or, thought-provoking, something that's extraordinary to you.
I think one of the best comic books that I've read in the past 5 or 6 years is The Humans by Keenan Marshall Keller, and I forget the artist, but that series, there's something that happens, I won't spoil it. It is monkeys end up are in this timeline. It's pretty much Planet of the Apes, but if it was a biker gang who sells drugs in Bakersfield. And it's amazing. It's so good. There is one thing at the end of the first volume that I was on the toilet reading it. It happened, and then I started sobbing uncontrollably.
Oh,
to
so it
this
moved you. That's
to this Monkey Man comic. It's so good. I got a fuzz in my
Whatever
mouth.
it takes. I mean, the messenger doesn't matter. Is like if it moves you, that's what really matters.
But you know, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. That's pretty
Yes.
highbrow if you read all of it.
Yeah, I think so too. Like on its surface, it looks very like dangerous, but like you read like the dialogue within it, and it's it is thought provoking.
Yeah.
So that's books. So obviously, if your entertainment is not books, it sounds like it's comic books. I'm hearing video games. How about TV and movies? What do you got there?
Movies are just like dumb indie B movies. I've been really into Full Moon recently. They did like Puppet Master, Trancers. Okay. Trancers is a hell yeah, guys. Watch Trancers. If you like sci-fi, you're going to like Trancers 1, 2, and 3. If you like fantasy, you might like 4 and 5, but probably not because those ones are bad. And then
fantasy readers generally like, or not like, but they'll tolerate bad stuff.
Well, for this, it's weird because it's science fiction, but then such a hard left turn. But I know, like, if you look at the production reasons, they ended up having to move the Full Moon moved to like a European country, and all of a sudden they were like, we have a castle we can use. Trancers, what do you want to do with it?
So it was pretty high production then. It wasn't like a B movie, or is it a B movie?
Oh, it's a B movie
Series.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a B movie, but made by people who know how to make it look like it's not. But the current, at least the one I watched, the print of it for the fourth one is terrible. For the first 3, amazing. But yeah, it's a weird series. That's what I enjoy as movies. I also like weird kids movies that are just like, who wrote this and who greenlit this for children? Like Meet the Deedles, that's one of my faves. Snow Day, oh my God, that's a real good one.
You've been talking Snow Day for a long. The listeners may not know, but yeah, you're Snow Day crazy, and I think it's getting to be a problem. I'm sorry.
I think it's fun. It truly
it is.
After doing research on it, people might watch and be like, "Well, this is weird," but the dudes who created Pete and Pete wrote Snow Day to be a Pete and Pete full-length feature.
Yes.
So when things kind of like altered and they were like, oh, well, we can't make a Pete and Pete movie, they changed the script to take out Pete and Pete stuff. But if you watch it, there are clearly things still so Pete and Pete in that movie. And I think it's great.
I'll take your endorsement. I remember enjoying it when me and Caleb saw it when it was in theaters.
Hell yeah.
A lot of times when you have to go see a kid, especially at that time when Caleb was younger, I was new to being a dad too. So anytime a kid's movie had some adult sensibilities and not like over the top goofy dad adult sensibility kind of things, but like, real life.
Yeah. My dad will still sing the praises of a TV show called Monster Rancher because he's like, it was just leaps and above better than all the stuff you guys were watching at that time. And he would sit down and be like, hey, I'll watch Monster Rancher with you guys because it's actually good.
All right.
What's the most recent new TV show you've watched?
Yeah, that's there's a show, The Wheel of Time. Of course, I've just seen that. Well, we did watch How To with John Wilson. That was fantastic. I was sorry to see that end. That was on HBO. Yeah, I don't watch a whole lot of TV,
Okay.
James. Like, I spend most of my time like either on the phone or reading or listening to music instead.
Or jamming out on some music?
Yeah. We've been making a point to do that every day for an hour or two. Yeah, I got the 2 bands going. Rebecca Crow, that's me and Heather, and that's pretty much what I've spent most of my time doing when I'm in here now. Intravoid is not on hold, but I haven't written anything new in a while.
Steve, what are you into sexually? And that's when you say, let's take our break.
Oh, we've already been on break. This is all getting edited out, but we're going to take a for real break, and I'm going to hit the button. The second intro will be Voidmaster, and then the third either intro or outro will be me, because I have another band that's already sent me something too, but I want to save it just in case nobody else sends me anything, because that's all I've got so far is two.
If you do you at the end, we'll have to call it Outro Void.
Oh, yay. Okay. They're my nemesis. We're never going to speak of them ever again.
Outro Void.
Okay, and we're back from a bunch of nonsense. That was a great interlude. That was Voidmaster, Ritual Grinder. Voidmaster is out of Pennsylvania, Quakertown, I believe. Fantastic doom metal in the vein of, I'd say, like Electric Wizard or Bong Ripper. Definitely check him out. His stuff's fantastic. But I'm back here with James McCullum, the Marshland Monster. Hello? Hello? Are you still there?
Hello.
We haven't dropped you yet. We are getting into the nitty gritty now. We are going to talk about the teaser first off, James, okay?
Cheer!
So you watched this stuff, correct? The teaser and the trailer.
I watched it earlier this morning, and then I watched it again right before we started recording, both of the trailers.
Ah, sweet. Okay,
One of
so
which-
yeah, just tell me straight up, what's your first impression?
Well, first, the teaser trailer is just a trailer. Like, it's not it's just a trailer, which is weird. Just call it that, guys.
It's got significant dialogue within, though, which we're going to go over.
Okay, I think I am conflating this again with maybe a Wrinkle in Time. I thought this was sci-fi. It is not.
It's fantasy, yes.
And yeah, it's magic fantasy. It does feel, from what I saw visually, this looks a lot like just specific things, like the lady coming out of that like primary color water, and even the title card specifically, how that looks. It's The Witcher.
Okay, sure. That's a good comparison.
I was like, even some of the actors look like people from The Witcher, and I looked, and not really. I think season 2 they are replacing someone with The Witcher, but I didn't look at it because I didn't want to know anything about this. I also did see a lot of people on the internet, like a Redditor said, watching Wheel of Time has made me appreciate The Witcher much more. And there was a Screen Rant article that's just the Wheel of Time and their Witcher counterparts. And it's like, okay, so they're trying to get both on there. This is also weird that Amazon's doing the Lord of the Rings series, right?
Yes, correct.
It's odd that they're like, hey, let's just go full into fantasy. Maybe they're just going to be throwing things at the dartboard and be like, we will find our Game of Thrones eventually.
Right. It is interesting that like they had already greenlit the Lord of the Rings and were already going to make that into a TV show after Game of Thrones. But then yes, they wanted some new property. Or not new property, but they wanted to bring something new to the table. So that's why they're being released around the same time. If it was better planned, it would not have happened this way. Game of Thrones would have ended, then Lord of the Rings, that season would have came out, and then next year, Wheel of Time would have came out, ideally. And it is kind of spaced out that way because, I don't believe Lord of the Rings has came out yet, right?
No, still not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, did you recognize any of the actors?
I didn't. I have to watch things with a heavy blue blocking filter on my screen,
Sure.
so that could be an issue. But you did tease that someone from, maybe that's why I was like, someone in here looks familiar through this orange tint on my screen. You said someone from my favorite series, and I think the only good series of Power Rangers, which is Power Rangers Ninja Steel.
That's correct. Power Rangers Ninja Steel. So the very first scene of the teaser, you have a woman whisper into another woman, "Be strong," and then she pushes her off a cliff.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yes.
One of those women was the White Ranger.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know if you recognize Zoe Robbins or not, but that's who that was. That's her claim to fame. So generally, if you look up Zoe Robbins, that's what's going to pop up is the Power Rangers. But now Wheel of Time, of course, is top of her list because she's fantastic. Anyway.
I feel, unfortunately, Wheel of Time could become the biggest series in the world. And that poor woman will still have people on Instagram screaming whatever her name was in Power Rangers. Power Rangers fans are terrible.
Well, she does the circuit. I mean, I know that she, goes around to the cons and stuff. So, she doesn't shy away from it. I don't think she's still doing it.
Maybe, I mean, like right now, yeah, that's still it. She's just like 5 years removed. But when it like gets to 20 years, like even Rose McIwan, I think is her name, from McIvan. She's iZombie, now in Ghosts, was in Woke for the first season. I'm guessing she comes back, but she's a New Zealand actress, and her like big starting role was Power Rangers Overdrive or RPM. And yeah, she still gets comments of people saying like, "Oh, you're the Yellow Ranger, right?" And it's like, shut up, okay?
Well, anybody gets into the Star Wars universe, anybody in the Game of Thrones universe, anybody in this Wheel of Time universe is going to have the same saddle on their back. You got it on yours, too. Anybody who sees James like, "Hey, I remember you from being Marshland Monster." I mean, you get it all the time in the grocery store, right?
No, but back at home, there's this song that I have that at the time I'm like, yeah, I enjoy this song, but I've done so much better stuff. It's called Himnam. And people are like, "Yeah, man, I love that Himnam song." And I'm like, that came out 12 years ago.
Please keep up with my discography.
They're like, "Oh, yeah, man, I really love that. Wish you put out." Yes, I have put out more. I put out like an album every year, sometimes two.
Right on. Well, you can see from this trailer, it starts with some women, and you see that, women, obviously, they make mention that women rule this world. Mm-hmm. There's 5 directors of the show, 3 of which are women.
I really like this type of fantasy or this type of sci-fi where it is female forward and focus. The Witcher is... It is, but then sometimes isn't, because like there's clearly men, or maybe even in this one, there are men who are like, men should be on top. But it's the women are like, "Hey, we are much more powerful at magic than you, so calm your tits over there, bro."
I'm going to go over some of the dialogue that they actually said during the teaser and the trailer, and I want to get some of your thoughts on this. So, of course, they first said, "Be strong," pushed in the water. Do you have any curiosity as to why someone would do such would do that? Is that just a test of like friendship strength or something, or what do you think?
What I was thinking is because we see it, I think, in the next trailer that they're like, "Oh, the people on the mountain, their like blood runs deep," or whatever the dialogue was, and I'm assuming like this is like some sort of training to be like unique. Also, the woman coming out of the primary color water.
Yes,
I'm guessing their water plays a role within magic in this, just like in The Witcher.
Okay, yeah, great indications. So the first thing they say is the wheel of time turns as ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. That's how every one of these books begins. You as a viewer wouldn't know that, but they do say that at some point, I think, in every episode.
At this moment, I realized that the Wheel of Time is not literal, it is figurative, because I thought I assumed this would be time travel shit.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, a couple periods of time are, yeah. No, it's not.
Flash forwards are different than time travel, sir.
Yes, there is no time travel.
A man at
yes, the circle of life, correct.
Jack Death, the same age as he's always been, is not going to different time periods. We're just aging with these individuals. I will say, though, because it's fantasy, I'm like, hey, there might be boobies in this, because fantasy loves to show boobies.
Well, I mean, there were some skin images. You had to have seen that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
great.
and I paused. 0.25 speed, baby. I'm kidding. I did
Yes,
not.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. All right. So, like in the trailer. By the way, I can't go on without saying that the main character here is Rosamund Pike. She's the woman in blue that you keep seeing. They keep focusing on her very, serene face. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
The actress or the character I'm referring to in blue. The woman in blue that keeps taking her hood on and off.
Okay, actually, she's to me the woman in gray because, again, I have blue blockers on and it makes blue turn gray.
Take them blue blockers off,
I
fellas.
can't.
Ruining your experience. Colors are very important here.
Well, when I watch it on TV, because I'm further away from the screen, I watch this on my computer, so it needs to be cranked up, or I just get a migraine and I'm out of commission for the day.
It's okay. So we also got Daniel Henney. We see him pretty predominantly in here. He's kind of he's an Asian warrior. I think they show him with a sword, looking kind of badass a lot.
Yeah,
Does that ring a bell to you?
Yeah, his fight scenes I took note of.
Yeah, please take note. We got Zoe Robbins. We've already talked about her. She's the Power Ranger woman.
Yeah.
And then the cast on down. They're very they made a point to get a lot of unknown actors because they want them to. This is 15 books, and this is season 1 of the TV show. So they want young actors that are unknown that are going to be able to commit to this for many, many years. So we got.
Can I say something real quick?
Of course.
Zoe Robbins is her name.
Yes.
She was on 50 episodes of a internationally syndicated show. She is still an unknown because no one watched that.
Well, in this world, she is one of the most known
Ooh, yeah.
actors.
Hell yeah.
I mean, Rosamund Pike is huge. I mean, she was in Gone Girl. I have it written down here. She was in Gone Girl, A Private War. She played Madame Curie. She's a real prestigious actor. Gone Girl is what she's most known for, if you're familiar with that.
All the things you just read, I have never heard. I mean, I've heard of or never heard of, but never seen.
Okay, fair enough. Well, even Wheel of Time, if not for me pushing you to do this, would you, if you saw this trailer and teaser out there in the wild, would you have been compelled to watch it?
If we had, a month of Amazon Prime, I probably would have. Because it does feel The Witcher-esque. However, it doesn't have a hunky daddy like in The Witcher. Dude, Henry Cavill.
You don't think any of these guys are hunky?
I mean, compared to Henry Cavill, holy Christmas, guys. I want him to just hug me and, say everything's going to be okay.
Every show, shows do not have Henry Cavill in them, so you got to take what you can get. I mean, these fellas are not bad looking, you got to admit.
But there's a kindness in Henry Cavill acting as the Witcher.
Yeah, his vibe comes through. He seems like a kind individual, actually, when it comes to celebrities.
Guys, especially season 2. Oh my God, he's a dad, guys.
Okay, we're hearing a lot about, I'm going back to the trailer and teaser. We're hearing a lot about the Dark One is waking, the Dark One is coming, be ready, the world's burning, etc., etc. Did you see anything that spooked you out, or see anything that stood out to you?
Well, they were saying like, hey, it's gonna be 5. You are the 5 to take down this Dark One, and I'm like,
Right.
that's
Power Rangers.
That's unfair ganging up on a man or a individual who just seems to want to make a name for themselves. So right now, as it stands, I am pro Dark One on this show.
All right. I mean, we'll see how this goes. It'll be a real back and forth then.
I am also I'm also someone who, in the Spawn universe, I'm very pro Satan.
Well, in the Spawn universe, I admit that I am as well.
Hell yeah.
We see eye to eye right there. Yeah. So
Actually,
that's. Excuse me,
Steve, I guess I should say, in the real universe, I am very pro Satan.
All right, right on.
There you go, guys.
Let's see. I guess I'm not not really.
Satan is literally, when people say, oh, they're doing God's work, you want to know who is doing God's work? Satan. He is a warden for the worst souls to ever live or exist. So guys, yeah, Satan, give respect.
Well, you got to point out too that when you say he's a warden to these people, that means that he is pushing them to better themselves and to better the world that they're in.
Also, like, he's just doing this for room and board. He's a not-for-profit warden.
All right, let's see. So yeah, Dark One. Did you see any? So yeah, being into Satan and being into dark stuff. What was like the darkest, most satanic image you saw that you thought was cool?
That upside down head with all the teeth. That was pretty cool. And that Minotaur looking dude. That was hella dope. Is that the Dark One? Who knows?
As much as I do at this point.
All right.
All I'm going to do, and that leads me into our next segment, which I'm going to allow you 3 questions every episode. Of course, I'm going to tell you who characters' names are and places. That's a gimme. But I'll allow you every episode, if you wish. You can pass if you like, or you can just ask me other kinds of questions. But I'll allow you 3 questions, and I'll try not to spoil them, but I'll try to walk the edge as much as possible. So I'm going to give you an opportunity right now if you had any questions that might lead your interest more.
This is a general question. Is this a show that it's going to take us 5 episodes to get to like the Dark One and things going on? Or are we like from the get-go like, hey, something's up and something's on its rise?
We got a solid pilot episode that stands on itself.
Okay.
So I mean, like the pilot or not, because the internet loves to have an opinion about these things. But I mean, the pilot is, it introduces you to everything within it.
Okay, hell yeah. Next one is I can't keep calling her. I also don't know her name from Power Rangers, so I guess that's I'm not just calling her by her Power Rangers name. What was that?
Nynaeve. Her name is, just say like the number 9 and then Eve. Nynaeve.
Nynaeve. Is she a main character?
I'm not going to say.
Dang it.
I'm going to choose not to answer that one.
Okay. Well, I only have one more, and coming into this, I knew it. What is your social security number?
All right. It's 2 dash and then the $sign.
Ooh.
And then you have to do the thing where you hit the A and like it makes the X on you.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then it's 93. And then it's uppercase X, lowercase Y, and then MLM for Marshland Monster at the end.
Oh, whoa.
Did you get all that?
Yeah, I did. Mine is $Marshland Mullum, I believe, on
Sweet.
Cash App.
It's cool that we can make our own social security numbers now. I like that they're
Yeah.
customizable.
You want to know what? Let's make our social securities NFTs, guys. Why not?
Our medical records should definitely be NFTs that we own. I mean, I think that's like the strongest case for NFTs is medical records. Personally,
Scammers are going to get our social security numbers anyway, but how about we take back the power and we make a profit off from people scamming us? We sell our social securities as NFTs.
I don't like where that's leading. That sounds terrible. I don't want to get into that world. I'm going to be honest with you.
Too bad. That's where the future's going, unless you want to be a fogey.
Well, you don't have to split the profit with me. It's all you. So congrats.
All right, guys.
All right, I'm going to take one more break. We'll be right back. Hello again, and we're back. What you just heard was Intro Void. That was their song Wheel of Time Spoilers. It's a cover song from the podcast Wheel of Time Spoilers, which I hate to recommend, but I am going to recommend because I love it. Intro Void is a Richmond, Virginia band consisting of me, Steve Barnes. I'm still here with James Marshland Monster, yes?
Yeah, hello.
Oh, great. We didn't lose you after all, huh?
Nope. I
We
mean,
never
did,
had-
but
Everything's run so smoothly, and Foul Orchard Studios is just cranking out right on time, right?
yeah, zero technical difficulties in between that break.
Yeah, I love this. So the last thing I
Oh.
wanted to go over about this trailer with you was not the teaser, but the trailer itself. And you saw the dialogue we heard was you see someone holding a rod, a white rod in their hand, and they say, "I swear to speak no word that is not true." Did you catch that?
I did not.
Okay, yeah, that is an oath that they said 3 oaths there during the trailer, and that's one of them. And they show her holding a rod and some magic swirling around, so that kind of tells you that this shit's for real. And that is what she swore, to speak no word that is not true. So, James, how would your life change if you swore that oath right now and going forward you were technically unable to speak no word that was untrue?
Oh, I don't lie. So I don't think it would change my life that much. I'm a very honest guy, and if I was like, well, I don't want to tell this person something that could be hurtful, I just wouldn't talk.
Right, exactly. That's James, you're ahead of the curve. You're only 30. You're ahead of the curve. I can't believe it. You're a wise man. They also, one of the oaths they said is to make no weapon with which one can kill another.
I had that written down.
Yeah, so
Which-
why'd you write that down?
Because that's not on them. Like, a kid could eat a Lego. Legos weren't made to be weapons. And it could kill that child from eating the Lego.
Well, yeah, you can make a Lego. It's not intended to be killed, but to make a weapon that is intended for, like a gun, for example.
Okay, so it's like, hey, but I could have swore the line. Did you direct quote it?
Yes.
Okay, because I took it as like, won't make a weapon that another can use to kill.
To make no weapon with which one can kill another. But that is exactly what it means. Like they're unable to make a gun or unable to make I guess a guillotine or something like along those lines.
Yeah, because you could make rope or you could make
Yeah.
a candlestick and
Yes.
someone could kill people with those.
Yeah, people are creative, but yeah, that generally there's better uses of ropes and candles
Okay.
than murder.
So I just want to make sure these people aren't going to be caught in some loophole where it's like, well, you technically made that
Right.
cauldron that someone shoved someone in and then boiled them alive.
Well, most TV shows are based around conflict, and so they're telling us these oaths right now. So you might get your wish. Also,
Wait,
they
no,
say
that's not my wish.
no. You'll get your wish, as in like you'll see that come to fruition. I don't know.
I hope they're not getting just one over on them because, you did make this weapon. And it's like, but I didn't. It was a guitar. It's not my fault someone took the strings off and strangled someone with it.
But they would be completely unable to even make that weapon to begin with.
Okay, so they can make, I guess, clouds.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's a weapon that can't kill people.
If
Even
they
though sometimes they do, as like, they can make just non-rain or thunder lightning clouds.
well,
We're getting way too deep into this.
we could be, yeah. You already asked the 3 questions. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to move on. The last oath is never to use the one power as a weapon, except in the defense of my life or the life of a sister.
Okay.
So, yeah, they have this power, but they're kind of hampered from like being, killers with it.
So the dark one is just murdering village people, and it's like, well, he's technically not murdering any of like my fellow mages and me, so I can't use his power to make him stop.
Aes Sedai, they also say that they are servants of all. That's what Aes Sedai translates to. So they're responsible for everybody.
Okay.
So they want to
can-
protect everybody.
All right.
Servants of all. And their big key phrase here is the wheel weaves as the wheel wills. So be it, however you want to phrase that. Any
Things
thoughts
keep
about that
churning.
philosophy?
That's life, baby. Heck yeah.
The wheel weaves on. So do you want to continue watching this series with me, James?
Yeah, I'm actually excited to watch it now.
Oh, great. So, I don't have to talk you into anything or like
No.
coax you or no manipulation. It's done.
Also, the fact that this is only 8 episodes and probably will only be 8 episodes per season makes me say, like, hell yeah. I did a Buffy podcast, and my personal thoughts is Buffy is a bad show. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
I think it is boring. A lot of the characters are poorly written and are just asshats. There's no character development, and so, like, Willow in season 4 was still acting like a child, and
Yep.
one summer she was murdering vampires while Buffy Summers was out of town. So, like, trying to do like an entire show that I have never seen, even though like I loved doing the show because of my co-hosts, but I'm excited for this one because it looks good.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it all over again, to get like in a schedule of doing this. Do you want to start doing this on Thursdays?
Yeah.
All right. As long as Charlotte doesn't get involved, we can do it at 7 p.m. Eastern. I can have this sucker ready on Sunday morning. That sounds like a good time to release a podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. Of course, we got to give some shout outs and give some plugs. I'm going to let you go first, sir. Do you want to...
Go to mlmpod.com to get links to all the podcasts that I've done, like Mostly Speaking Sentai. Steve has been on that. Shuffling the Deck, Steve has been on that. And then Hit It and Crit It is a D&D podcast that I think should be starting up again because of the pandemic. It's been on like a hiatus, and then like we put out some episodes and had to go back on hiatus. Trying to get 5 to 6 people in the same room during a pandemic has been difficult.
Yeah, you do a chic load of them, man. You do like way too many. I don't understand. Then at first I started listening to all of them, and then I realized that's not. I don't think it's possible. I think that's why you do many, so you have like a diverse range of subjects. So if somebody's into your stuff, they can say, "Well, I like this, so I'll check out the Sentai one."
It was originally just I quit my job to do audio production, and I wanted to be my own guinea pig, but also I was like, I need to keep doing things. So like I also stream on twitch.tv/mostly speaking Sentai, and check out if you like creepy cute stuff like stickers and cool shit, check out darlinghomebody.com. That's Nicole's website. That's my spouse.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, we keep it going. I do music too. I'm Introvoid. My Instagram handle is a little funky. It's Introvoid_RVA. But if you just type in Introvoid, you'll probably see me. It's a little spaceship logo. I also do a band, Rebecca Crow. We do a lot of alternative covers. I was just practicing Karma Police before we started recording today. That's the newest one that I've learned that we play with that band. And if you're listening to this, then obviously you know that we're on Instagram at Sweet Child of Time Pod. And that's also our Gmail address. There's a link in the description notes there. And I would love to have anybody reach out through Instagram, through our Gmail account. I'm trying to get some bands to send some stuff in. We heard Voidmaster. Of course, I dropped me and James in the first episode, but we're going to hear other bands throughout the way. But I need to get them first. Please send them in. And send me in your thoughts, too. If we got something wrong, if we got something right. I'm going to try to do a better job with production and characters. At first, I thought I would just kind of play blind man to James as blind man, but I figured, no, we got to go into, production and who directed this and, what these characters are and who plays them. So I will make a point to do some homework throughout this series. So that's going to be it, James. I'm going to leave us with Wheel of Time saying, may you always find water and shade.
May you always find water and shade. And one more thing to plug, go to OpenSea. That's where my social security number is.
Yay, mine's right there next to it. Bye-bye, sweet child of time. See you next time.
Made the Mossberg meal, now the dish is served. Run to the temple, there's a gun, catacombs. I'm done with my mental pumping blood, glad at home. But one burning temple left, two catatones. Cause running from my mental death, you settled on. I'm a fiend, I'm blaring in the bear and jug.